And I'm Chris, and this is a video.
It is a video. It's a new channel. It's a new day.
And today we are going to talk to you about our expectations, our hopes for Cyberpunk 2077.
Which are extremely high. Expectations just are just through the roof, to be honest. Which is I'm a little bit worried about. I'm a little bit apprehensive about how excited I am for this
I
game.
mean, you know what they say about high expectations. Easier to be disappointed. But I honestly have faith in CD Projekt Red with this. I think they're going to knock it out of the park. The reviews coming in already seem very strong. There's talk about a few bugs, but there's going to be a day one patch as well. So hopefully that should mitigate a lot of that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely,
otherwise, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, day one patch is going to be necessary. And I feel like there's going to be quite a lot of patches with the number of people playing this game, and everyone playing it their own way. There's going to be bugs everywhere. I think they'll be bringing out patch after patch, which is welcomed.
I mean, let's look at it this way as well. CD Projekt Red have a history of releasing pretty solid games. I mean, they obviously starting from Witcher 1 to 2 and 3, they only got better and better, with Witcher 3 being one of the strongest entries into gaming in history. And Cyberpunk has been a labor of love of theirs for quite some time. I mean, they've worked years on this, so
They
good
announced it in
thing.
2011.
Exactly. So I'm very excited, and I know you are too. We've been discussing this for quite some time now, you and I.
It's true. It's been the main topic of discussion for a lot of my conversations for weeks now.
And 2 days to go.
2 days. By the time this video comes out, potentially one day, maybe 2 days if I'm really efficient, but we will see. We should preface this by saying both of us have looked into the game at varying levels. So I've seen most of the trailers and all of the Night City Wire episodes. And Chris, you've seen the trailers, but not the Night City Wire episodes. Is that correct?
Sort of. I've not even necessarily seen all of the trailers. I've seen a few snippets here and there. Just because, like, obviously, I'm not excited like anyone else. I want some information. But the big thing for me, and I do this with a lot of my RPG playthroughs, whether it's Skyrim or whatever else, I like to go in blind. I like to immerse myself into the character, so I only sort of really know what they know, what to expect, and I want to discover the game on my own. Not that Night City Wired goes into extreme detail about plot and stuff anyway. But I know very little in terms of the plot. I just know what I've seen, how beautiful the game looks, what some of the gameplay and possibilities do look like. And then I've just read a lot of stuff, like how the game is a bit like a web with all of the possible branching choices you can do. And
Yeah.
it's going to be huge. Like one thing I've read is the game is only 20 hours long or so story wise, as in main story. The actual meat and potatoes of the game comes from the side quests and the side content and the world building and exploring said world and getting lost in it. Very similar to Skyrim. I know loads of people who have played Skyrim without ever touching the main quest. Some of them don't even make it to finding out they're the Dragonborn, and they're already like level 50, just making their own narrative and enjoying the world. And that's what this game is trying to achieve in a lot of ways, from what I've read. And apparently a very basic playthrough gives you like a possibility of 3 endings. But like when the person who did this went back and played again and were making different choices, doing different side quests, apparently several of the endings that they had options for were completely gone. They had like 8 possible new endings, and they obviously that was just them doing one line of choices. It's very exciting.
It's extremely exciting. Yeah, seeing how the branching, like all the different choices, they're going to be fantastic. Because Witcher 3 alone had 32 or 34. I will have to fact check that one. Different endings, and that was like years ago now. And they've been working on Cyberpunk for so long. It's going
And
to
and
be.
And the other thing is the game is going to be very much the experience that you choose to make it. Again, one of the things that I've learned is This guy, he had a particularly favorite mission, and one of his friends didn't even uncover this mission because their playthrough took them down an entirely different route. And like one of the characters that even offered the mission was like dead or something. So it's a vastly changing world. Like you could do multiple playthroughs of this game. I feel, not to mention the 3 starting paths, which I believe we wanted to talk about.
We do. Before we get into that, I just want to quickly clarify. Chris, did you watch that 48-minute long gameplay that they brought out maybe a year or two ago?
I definitely watched something like a year or two ago, which was like a full gameplay sort of trailer, and it was showing like, oh, you can approach the mission from this way, you can make allies, or you can go in guns blazing, and then there was a segment where they skipped to a fully upgraded V, just to show what V could be capable of as well.
Right, yes. Okay, so yeah, you've seen the video that I'm thinking of. So that
Yeah.
showed off a lot of different ways that you can play the game, with the like the tech trees or just the full-on guns blazing. Now, yes, so okay, that's fine. I just want to know if you'd seen that video because that one seemed like it was starting on the street kid path.
Not necessarily. I've seen a lot of the previews have heavily suggested that at least the most recent one, from what I've seen, was showing the nomad path, at least from what I've been told.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. You know what? That's fine. Yeah, that would be great. Like, to be fair, they've been so good at keeping story and, most things under wraps.
Yeah, I mean, aside from obviously Johnny Silverhand, which was a huge reveal, like Keanu Reeves, I love Keanu Reeves.
I mean,
So
who
I'm
doesn't love
very
Keanu Reeves?
excited. I'm just excited to see his performance and how he embodies the character. Um, but yeah, no. So we know primarily that there's going to be 3 sort of starting paths, which is Nomad, Street Kid, or Street Tough, Street Thug, whatever they call it, and Corporate. And
Yeah, Corpo is going to be. Oof.
yeah, and obviously those are going to heavily influence the game to begin with based on your origins anyway. But it's, as I said, this replayability, the idea that you've got these 3 different options from the beginning, and even if you like choose the same option, like I'm going to be choosing the Street Kid origin, which I believe you are too, Hamza.
Indeed, I'm going to definitely be going Street Kid. It's funny,
Yeah,
one of the main things that draws me to that is actually the music side of it. Um,
yeah.
it's going to be my line of well, to be fair, music is, I love all music, but I'm really looking forward to living that Street Kid cyberpunk life. I just want to see. I want to start low. I want to build it up. I want to take over.
See, for me, as somebody who has always loved characterization, improv, acting, writing, D&D, all of that stuff,
Hmm.
I really like this idea. It's one of my favorite things when it comes to a character trope of somebody sort of rising up from nothing. Somebody sort of possibly even like remote, quite insignificant, and then influencing big change, which you're definitely gonna do throughout this story. Let's face it. Like you've got all of these global giants, and I think the very nature of cyberpunk is that you're going to be rising up against those giants, whether it's to make a name for yourself or just survive or whatever. But it's very exciting for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. And from what I've seen of Johnny Silverhand, he seems very much like a stick it to the man kind of guy, and he's not going to be very subtle about it.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what role he'll play in the story. I know very little about his involvement. It's it,
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be exciting. But so obviously, as I said, we've got these 3 paths. But the very interesting thing is like I'm going to definitely do multiple playthroughs. I have no doubt. But I just like this idea that I could still choose Street Kid for a second playthrough and have a very different experience story wise, just depending on if I choose different things during those side quests. So the fact that CD Projekt Red, I wouldn't even say that they've necessarily made a game. They've made a world, and you're just going to sort of like simulate living in it. That in its own way is going to be a very interesting style of play, and that's probably my approach. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what are you thinking is going to be your approach to your characterization, and how you proceed?
So I'm as I've already said, I'm going to be going for Street Kid. I plan on playing a male character. I just find I can get more into it because I am a male. Spoiler alert. Sorry, anybody that thought I was a female. No, I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, I will be playing a dude. I shall be playing a dude. I'm gonna be a street kid. See. Normally, I played like games in like the stealth route. I love. Well, I loved Assassin's Creed up to like AC4, and I loved being able to like, well, do things in like a sneaky fashion. Probably in the last 6 or 7 months or so, I've been exploring, going out guns blazing. So who knows? The good thing about Cyberpunk is my understanding is there is no exact tech tree. You can go multiple paths at the same time, provided you've
Yeah,
got, the experience for it.
and from
So
what I've learned as well, your skills develop in real time, similar to Skyrim. So the more you do a certain style of play, the better you'll get at it. And obviously, you can change things up a bit as well. So
yeah, exactly. And that's going to be very fun. So yeah, for first playthrough, Street Kid, I'm not decided, but I'm keen on checking out Corpo. I was really torn between going Corpo and Street Kid when I first saw them. Um, I'm looking forward to, yeah, just making a lot of choices. I've run out of things to
yeah,
say because I
it's
don't know what you've
fine.
seen in Night City, so I'm like, I don't want to say too many things.
You're trying not to spoil stuff for me, and I came into this video knowing that I might get like a few little hints of things, so don't worry too much. But yeah,
I
no, for
mean,
me, oh, sorry, go on.
no, go on. Or the only thing I was going to say is just me being me. I'm insanely excited about three things. Just in terms of like the environment of the game is I've already mentioned the music, the fashion, and oh my god, am I excited about the cars? Oh,
Yeah, oh my
I don't know
God.
if you've seen any of them, but geez,
Now,
Louise.
this is the thing. There was a time in my life back when I was playing an aging MMO now. Unfortunately, the servers are dead. Called PSU, where I was just like, oh, who cares about clothing? It costs money. I can buy weapons and shit. And then one of my friends was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, clothing is where it's at. Clothing is the end game. And ever since that revelation, that lightning that struck the very core of my being, I was just like, nope, I have to make myself look the part. It's like, and it really took over me. So I'm looking forward to the customizability down from clothing to the weapons and everything. And yeah, the cars. Oh man, the cars, Hamza, they look amazing.
Mate, I'm so excited. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a huge car person, but I am into cars. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, say I'm not that into cars either, but like I'm into the hype of this game and everything in it, from the cars and every like they've put such dedication and time into this game, so much so that they've delayed it several times to just try to get it right. And even then, I feel that they would have preferred to have still a little bit longer with it if they could have. I'm somebody who doesn't mind companies. If it's definitely the right move, taking that extra time and care to put into a project to really give us something well crafted and polished. Um, so
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, like
labor of love, as I said at the beginning.
yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I would much rather have a finished product than something that's been, rushed at request or to, you know, get a certain target met for sales. It's like they don't. To be fair, CG Projekt Red aren't really about that. While all this is going on at the same time, Witcher 3 is going to be getting a free update if you already own it for ray tracing, which
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to have because sadness,
uh,
I don't have a ray tracing card.
I will in a few weeks. I've already paid for everything. I'm just waiting for some new kit to arrive.
Ah,
So
we could talk about the what we're running spec wise.
yes. But what I will say is I'm going to obviously play the game immediately on launch, so it's going to be a little bit sad knowing that I could play it like on max settings if I waited, but I just can't wait.
Oh
Like
no,
I've
it's not worth
waited
the
too
wait.
long. And I know that I was just saying I'd be prepared to wait longer if it was necessary, but because they're releasing it, I'm not gonna. But
Yeah.
yeah, but no, my sort of hopes and play style for this, as I said, I'm gonna sort of go in blind. Um, I know I'm gonna do Street Kid. I'm actually gonna go for a female character for this run. There was a lot of talk surrounding V to begin with about what is truly canon for him or her, and a lot of people saying female, a lot of people saying male, and I just kind of liked the vibe and the gel of what I saw of the female character play gameplay. Um, And in terms of getting into the character's head, again, as a bit of background on me, I am a writer. I did a writing degree, and I play D&D and all sorts. And I'm used to switching back and forth between male and female prerogatives. Just to be clear, I do go by male pronouns. I'm not trans. But that headspace has never really mattered to me. I like to invest myself into a character. I read a lot of fiction which has either a male or a female protagonist, and I feel it'll just be the same sort of thing. I find it really easy to disassociate and disconnect from myself and put my head into the character that I'm playing, whether it would be Commander Shepard or Fem Shep. And yeah, so that's sort of the angle I'm going for character-wise. In terms of personality, there's going to be a lot of dialogue options. Like, oh my
And
god, like
I believe, as well as all the dialogue options, I think you can take your gun out like at most most conjunctions.
junctures, yeah. And I love that because there was a really brilliant game called Way of the Samurai 3. Quite basic in nature as well, but one of the great things that could dramatically change a scene is you could hit a button at any point and you would just suddenly draw your sword, and it had various consequences or benefits depending on when you did it. So this is going to be similar. It almost reminds me of the Renegade and Paragon options from Mass Effect 3.
Didn't play Mass Effect,
Like how you could
unfortunately.
interject. You've never played Mass Effect?
No, I didn't. I didn't have a console for a long time
Oh,
either.
dude. Okay, we're gonna change that, but that's a topic for another video.
Many
um,
videos to come.
but yeah, did you ever play the Dragon Age games?
Oh yeah, man, Dragon Age. I've been waiting to get new Xbox cables so I can play it for a third time. The first one, I
So
love Dragon Age Origins.
the sort of idea I'm going for my characters, I want again a sort of a rebellious character anyway, but I also like the idea of the comedy sort of snappy, witty options. And I always fondly remember in Dragon Age 2 that I think it was the bottom lines, but Hawk always had like a sort of like very sarcastic, witty response on like the bottom option that you could choose. So
Yeah, he was very
hoping,
charismatic.
yeah, I'm hoping Cyberpunk will do something similar, perhaps. But
They definitely will. They 100% will. It will depend on
yeah,
I think, how you play the game up to that point, plus what you
yeah,
choose for your background. Because
yeah,
the female V they showed in that 48-minute gameplay was fucking hilarious. Like, I think she
yeah.
was like, what did she say to Jackie? Something along the lines of, "I'm cleaner than a convent," which fucking sent me. I remember hearing that and just, I don't know
Thing.
why, it just proper cracked
I
me
didn't
up.
remember that line. But yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is I'm not going to necessarily define myself like, oh, if there's always a funny option, I'm going for it. It has to be appropriate to the scene and what I've experienced so far. As I said, I'm going in blind and I'm going in as the character. So as things unfold and I react to it and the character reacts to it, I'm going to be making choices in character in that regard as well. So that's my take on that at least. And again, I'm so hyped. Like
Yeah, and
just
the role
knowing that.
playing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just knowing that you can sort of go in with like a predefined idea of the character you want, and that even influence your decisions, and that's gonna give you a vastly different flavor of game. If the web is as big as it is from what people are saying, it's going to be phenomenal. I know I keep saying it's going to be spectacular, phenomenal, but I genuinely believe it, and I'm so hoping I'm not disappointed. I don't think I will be, but
It's funny that because I have a friend of mine keeps on telling me to temper my expectations because I keep on going like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so good," and every time I temper my expectations, another Night City Wire episode would come out, and I'd get re-excited again. But
also
he thought I was getting too excited about the like technological aspect of like the graphical bit. Yeah, that's gonna be great, but that's not what the game's about. I don't want a game just to look good. It has to be
and
fun. The graphics
and
don't
also
matter.
And also, it's going to be very different experience-wise, technologically, from whatever your rig is anyway. Like as I said, I'm fortunate enough that I'm going to be upgrading my rig in a matter of weeks. I'm going to be getting my 3080 graphics card and so on. And I should, in theory, it will be more than powerful enough for me to boost everything to max with ray tracing and still not experience any sort of really delay or frame drops. But again, I'm fortunate to be in that position where I'll be able to do that.
What monitor you got?
My monitor. Well, this is the thing. My monitors aren't necessarily the best, but I do have an extremely good 4K TV. which shares my monitor screen.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
so yeah, so basically, like my TV and my monitor mirror. Well, not mirror; they're cloned from each other, basically. And
Yeah, you duplicated that display, and it looks not. He's got a nice curved TV as well.
yeah, but this isn't a thing of bragging about tech. It's just literally um,
I
the
mean, it's just
technology. The game looks beautiful 100%, and definitely having a rig that can support that will help. But even then, that's not necessarily the defining feature that I'm looking for. And I agree. I agree. I think you were saying that's not even the defining feature that you're looking for yourself with this game.
agreed, agreed. I think partially it's because I don't have ray tracing, but I am rocking a 1080 Ti, 11 gig, so my my graphics card is power. I definitely have power. I've got no worries about
Oh
that.
yeah, you're gonna be fine. I mean, I think like even my graphics card, which is a 980 Titan, like that's still above the minimum specs to run the game capably. So yeah, you should still be more than okay and get a beautiful experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. The only thing that lets me down is my monitors. I have two 1080p 60 hertz monitors, but such is life. I spent so much
Yeah,
on the computer, I never got around to upgrading the monitors.
but at the same time, still knowing that you've got that extra power to play with is a nice feeling. And again, you should really not have any sort of frame issues, which is going to be important, especially with how densely populated Night City looks. Like again,
Oh, yeah, if
I
Night City's
cannot,
really that populated, woof, that's gonna be
I, ca-
crazy.
I cannot stress enough just how epic a scope of like the scale of this game. Like, um, Witcher 3 was a very huge landscape.
Mm.
But it was also mostly linear. Obviously, it didn't really climb vertically, but this is a sprawling city with skyscrapers as well. So like while it may not be as wide in scope, the fact that there's going to be that verticality to this world is going to be very promising as well.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how much of it you can explore, because I know you can explore a lot of it,
From
because they have
what
those
I've
like
heard, you can go top to bottom.
in like all of the floors, like all floors of all buildings. It can't be
I, I,
all of them,
I,
right?
okay, I don't necessarily know about that, but I mean, like, it's again a huge scope.
Yeah, mostly explorable, which in itself is bonkers. Man, I really hope
And
we're not going to be disappointed in like 4 or 5 days' time when we make our first impressions video.
I mean, I honestly doubt it. Again, I've not really watched too much, especially plot things, but I've read one or two reviews. Which is how I've got some of my current information, and I've seen one or two reviews. One in particular was a review by Yong Ye, who very prominent YouTuber, does some really fantastic reviews. And I'm not trying to get people to start watching him over us because we're trying, guys. We're going to really try and make a go of this.
Oh, you can
Um,
watch both. I don't even know who this guy is, but
yeah,
go drop him a like anyway.
but yeah, no. Joke aside, he does a really in-depth review. Spoiler free. So if anyone's looking for if anyone's on the fence about getting this game, like obviously we're hoping to do a first impressions video later on that will be useful. But if you're on the fence right now, I recommend watching his video because he goes really in depth and he talks about everything from like the weapons and the skill trees and the customizability and like the driving, and he even goes into detail about the bugs. And this is the thing, in spite of like how buggy it is to begin with, and he reveals that they got a sort of a half patch, a review is half patch that doesn't incorporate all of the bug fixes that we're going to get on the day one patch. But he said it still helped the game, and there were still other bugs prevalent. A few too many to notice, which again is why I'm saying I hope the day one patch really does a good job. But he still had nothing but praise for the game, really. He was very impressed, and I've been following him for years, and he's been so excited for this game. So if anyone was going to be let down, it's him, which is why I've got a good feeling about this as well.
Fantastic. Now, when it comes to the day, the chosen day, what's your plan for how you're going to go about it? Because I know how I'm going to go about the actual day
Well,
itself.
I'm one of those darsods who has actually because of the pandemic and everything, I actually had a lot of holiday to take anyway, and I've managed to book 5 solid days combined with my 2 days off, so 7 days total. to basically just really sit down and get to grips with this game. Now, I'm working tomorrow, you know, but depending on how exhausted I am, I might just start playing Dead on Midnight when it releases. But at the same time, I don't want to spread myself thin, be tired, just get a little glimpse of the game and then go to sleep, like just have to give up and go, you know what, I can't really enjoy this in my current state and then regret it. I'm very prepared to wait until I've had a good sleep, just get to grips with it in the morning where I can just play unbroken. So we'll see how energetic I am tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So, yeah, so my plan is definitely. I think I'm gonna sleep, try and get as good of a good of a night's sleep. God damn, a good of shit. I can't speak. I'm gonna try and get a good night's sleep. There we go. The night before, and just get up in the morning, have a good breakfast, make sure I am fully fueled to play this game. I might even go for a walk beforehand, like a nice early
Like,
morning fresh walk.
I don't know how you feel, Hamza, but I'm not as young as I used to be. Those midnight sessions where I would just game for hours are sadly a little bit behind me now. Not that I did that too much anyway. But
For me, that was anime. I could just go. I used to be anime, but now I don't even watch any anime, and I just
listen, anime and various shows like again there was one night during lockdown where I was just watching episode after episode of Critical Role and I was just like absorbing it. And that's a very different thing because like while you still got to pay attention and take in what they're doing, with video games there's definitely a much more bigger aspect of giving. You're
much more
you're
involved.
yeah, you're far more involved. That can be tiring. I mean, you're getting emotionally involved as well. Like again, you can be emotionally involved watching a show, but because you've got a direct impact on what's happening, especially in a game like this, and the combat, the fact is that they've said this is an RPG first, but apparently the combat system is still stellar. I've heard some negative things about the more melee aspects of combat, which is a slight shame, but apparently the gunplay is very solid. So there's going to be a lot of feedback there, and as I said, it's I want to go into this game with a clear head and get the most out of it from my first impressions.
Yeah, of course. So we're both on PC. What's your PC FPS experience?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't done too many first-person shooters on PC. First of all, just for full disclosure, I can't keyboard and mouse. I've got a few body deficiencies, if you will, not like necessarily carpal tunnel or anything. But I just find it very difficult to use a keyboard and mouse for an extended period when gaming, having to hold certain positions with my wrists. And basically, I'm pure controller, even with a PC. In terms of my first-person shooters of the past, I mean, like I grew up playing like Call of Duty and Halo. I was very into Destiny for a while.
Oh yeah, Destiny was good.
Yeah, they've never been like my major sort of focus. Like I've always been more heavy RPG and Final Fantasy and various other things, but I'm still confident enough in my first-person shooter skills that it shouldn't be a problem.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'm similar. I'm not big into FPS games. I didn't pick up an FPS. First one I played was Battlefield 3 on the Xbox 360. Was the first time I ever
Mm.
played an FPS.
I mean,
Um,
my first ever first-person shooter, which is probably the true for many gamers my age, was GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64. And that was a very different experience of FPS as well, since you only had the one analog stick and then the C buttons.
Yeah, technically, you're right. Actually, I did play GoldenEye. My oldest brother, who's 22 years older than me, had an N64. I put GoldenEye in. I was 3 years old when I was playing it, and I remember dying, the blood coming down on the screen, crying, and then never playing the game again. So
Uh,
that's the extent I played GoldenEye.
it's like, we won't count that. It's fine. You're fine.
Yeah, yeah, that one doesn't count. It was Battlefield 3, which I actually got pretty good at. That was on console, and then on PC, I played. Unfortunately, I wasted a year of my life playing Overwatch, which
Hey, listen. I never got into Overwatch. It wasn't quite my thing or my scene. But I wouldn't say it's a waste. Everything at the end of the day is an experience, and if you were enjoying yourself for a year, why not?
I say I enjoyed myself for a month, and then after that, it was like a second full-time job trying to get better at that game. Fuck that game, honestly. Fuck Overwatch.
Oh dear.
Um,
Um,
but yeah,
but yeah.
We're gonna have fun.
So
We've covered
yeah,
quite a
no,
lot.
it's great.
We've hit the half an hour mark of recording.
Oh
Um,
my, it's really been half an hour.
yeah, I know it flew by. It flew by.
So yeah, I definitely think we should call it there, Hamza.
I like
To
that idea.
anyone watching, we hope you enjoy Cyberpunk. If you are gonna hop on board with it, whatever you experience, console, PC, just enjoy it for what it is and for what you want it to be. But we've definitely covered a lot of ground. As Hamza alluded to a little bit earlier, we're planning on making some follow-up videos. Not necessarily on launch day, but like a few days to get to grips with the game. We are going to do like a sort of first impressions video and what sort of explain like what our process has been up to that point.
Yep,
And
and then I think we might actually, if depending on how we're feeling, and how much of the game we've played, which is going to be a lot. We've both booked time off to play this game. We might get together and be like, oh, showcase, things that we did that we found interesting, little Easter eggs, whatever we feel like, and there
we're,
will be a review coming. We don't know when. It will be once we have fully experienced the game, maybe multiple playthroughs when we have fully given our all in the game and we can,
I yeah, and I want to express this as well. Obviously, this is a very new channel. We aren't obviously getting any advanced review copies like a lot of professional reviewers out there. Um, Me and Hamza are just guys like you watching. We're just gamers getting the game as it comes out, and some people like to watch reviews even while they've got a game just to see what their experience lines up with others. And there's some people who are on the fence that might be looking for more sort of casual, just chill, yeah, reviews. So hopefully we can provide what you're looking for. It'll be entertaining. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're just a couple of guys like you. And you girls, you know.
all gals, yeah. Can't
Yeah,
can't
guys
can't
and
miss out
gals.
all the lovely ladies
Oh,
out there.
we're guys. But basically, as I said, if you're looking for a really solid review now, just to get you off of the fence, if you're still undecided, I recommend Young Yeah. I'm pretty sure like Angry Joe and the like are going to be putting up some review videos as well. And heck, you probably got a few favorites that you watch yourself anyway. But otherwise, if you are interested in seeing what we think, look out for us in a few days' time, and we'll try not to disappoint you.
Hit that subscribe button, please. It would be a massive help. We are
Yeah,
starting out.
please like and subscribe, especially since we're such a new small channel. Anything helps with the YouTube algorithm, and comment please as well, by all means. Tell us what you think, what you're hoping for with the game,
Yeah, we
what
should
you're
both be
excited
active.
about.
We should both be active in the comment section as well. So feel free to have a chat with us. We are nice people. We don't bite.
And yeah, and if you've got any recommendations for us as well, just let us know. Either way, we've rambled beyond the point where we said we were going to cut off, so we are going to go right now.
Bye.
Bye.